Welcome to the Manville Entertainment Premises. Welcome to the podcasting wing. Welcome to the Authority Videocast YouTube channel, and welcome to Let's Talk. Crazy show today, and by that I mean I have done no prepping for you guys. We are straight up off the cuff like old times here on the channel. So many ideas for a video today, really truly. So much to talk about. I mean, where do you start? For me, I've been looking at a lot of different baseball players. Do I want to tackle them, tackle what they've been up to? Like Bobby Bradley, for instance, came up for the Cleveland baseball team and really tore the cover off the ball. Now he's come back to earth a little bit, but just show much as in Shohei Ohtani. That's another thing. I think I might make a full-scale video on it, you guys. Are the Angels Shohei Ohtani's team now? I mean, not that Mike Trout can't come back and automatically resume his place, not only in the field, but in the lineup, but from a fan's perspective. I mean, Mike Trout is really, Mike Trout's never given the Angels much of anything to cheer about other than his play on the field. And not that Shohei Ohtani is this charismatic guy off the field. Maybe he is, but I believe there's still a language barrier there. He's not out doing all these people aren't consuming him off the field. They're really only consuming Shohei on the field, the same way they did Mike Trout. But there is something captivating about this guy. He's an absolute superstar. I believe he's hit 6 home runs in the last 6 games, not to be confused with Kyle Schwarber hitting 5 home runs in his last 2 games, I believe, or at least that was before Saturday. Maybe it was included. Either way, Kyle Schwarber's on tear. Doesn't compare to Shohei Ohtani's tear. Shohei Ohtani is basically taking over the sport. So really interesting to see how Mike Trout fits back into that group, not only into that group, but into the clubhouse and within the fans, because in my estimation, Anaheim is Shohei Ohtani's town now. It's not a Mike Trout town anymore, which is crazy considering Mike Trout's contract. Are the Angels are they going to go? Who are they going to go with as their pillar, as their core? And not that you can't have both, but I'm just starting to think about the money involved in Shohei's next contract, because he's Babe Ruth. He pitches better than just about anyone, and he hits just about better than anyone. You haven't seen a guy who can hit and pitch at this level since Babe Ruth. So Shohei Ohtani he's just the real deal. And are the Angels his team now? I'm truly curious. Now, I'm going to set that aside for now because there are a couple things I did want to preview as a part of the show today. Visually speaking, for our stimulants, you're going to want to go ahead and check out this documentary. You can find it on YouTube. It's narrated by John Hamm, also known as Don Draper from Mad Men, and it's about the St. Louis Browns. I believe it's called The Team That Baseball Forgot. But if you look up, St. Louis Browns documentary, maybe even The Team That Baseball Forgot, you're going to find it right away. The production is a 12 out of 10. Because this sort of information can be dry. You're going back to old timey baseball players, and there's a lot of still images. There's no video, so it can get a little dry, you would think. But the production is so good in this documentary. I demand you guys. I only got halfway through it. It's only an hour long, but I kind of broke it up into one episode, because then they reached World War II and I stopped. It was about a half hour in. There's still about a half hour left. But you guys, this documentary is incredible. Just even if you don't like baseball, just to watch the production value of this thing is it's insane. I've questioned who even paid for this. This is like a Hollywood documentary. But really, I'm curious who made this thing. So that's amazing. As far as a visual stimulant, you will just be so happy that you went and watched this documentary. As far as audioly speaking, your stimulant is going to be, this is kind of a strange one, but if you do have the opportunity, if you still have a relationship with one or both of your parents, today I would ask that you heed their advice. Yesterday was Father's Day. So like I said, if you still have a relationship, if you're lucky enough to have a relationship with your father and you can ask him fatherly advice, or, just for a change, actually listen to what they're saying and respect their opinion, because I've realized as time goes on, When I was in high school, when I first got out of high school, my parents were the biggest idiots in the world, right? And they didn't know anything. And I don't even have kids yet. I haven't even started a family yet. I haven't even got to that whole portion of it. But just in the years since, just growing up, being on the back nine of my 20s, I have such an appreciation for all that has been taught to me, all that's been said to me. And God, if one day, if I can dole out even a shred of the advice that my dad specifically has given me, then I'll feel blessed, and hopefully I can, help my kid out the same way my dad helps me out on the daily with just incredible advice. So as far as our audio stimulant today, if you're lucky enough to do so, just listen, just give your parents a time of day and just, listen to what they have to say, because they do. Despite what we might think, especially at our younger ages, they definitely know what they're talking about. They've been there, they've done that, they get all that. And I think it's just time, we put a little bit more respect on our parents' opinions and all that. Unless it's political, then you don't have to listen to anything they have to say. So, all right, now, while we're here, previewing Cubs and Indians along with the hockey game 5 tonight. So Cubs and Indians back at it, 2-game series. And I thought this was interesting because last time these two teams met, they met in Cleveland for a similar 2-game series. I swear to God, what is it with the Cubs and Indians always loving to play these 2-game series? It's always the all-time interleague series is actually 18-17. The Cubs have an all-time record against the Indians of 18-17. So there's one game all-time that's separating these two teams when they play head-to-head. It's always a good game. And this time you get the backdrop, obviously, of Wrigley Field. If you're a Cleveland Indians fan, you don't get to enjoy that as much. So make sure you tune in tonight. You get the backdrop of Wrigley Field and Wrigleyville. Hopefully, my dad, speaking of that, my dad loves the Wrigleyville uniforms. And I don't know what he's smoking because they're so bad. The Southside uniforms, the White Sox, they got it right. The Cubs, no, I don't think they got it right. Anyway, though, this series, it's only 2 games, but last series when we were looking at these two teams, it was sort of like, oh boy, the wheels have really fallen off these two organizations. The hangover of 2016, it's finally, like these two teams, it's not just 2016. Just because they didn't make it back to the World Series, their windows have really been open until what I thought was now. I thought both these teams' windows were closing, but as they meet again, both teams are winning teams, and by a wide margin. The Indians are 39-30. The Cubs are 40-32. They're both winning teams, regardless of what happens this series. They're both winning teams. So it's just must-see baseball between, it's a rematch of the 2016 World Series. It's two teams that we thought might be, their windows are closing, but they've been able to retool at certain positions. And heck, it's on. It's on. I'm not going to say, like in 2015, I said these two teams, I went and saw them play. And it was so funny because the Cubs beat the Indians like 16-0. Chris Bryant hit a grand slam. It was Francisco Lindor's first week in the bigs, but the Cubs didn't care. They annihilated. I mean, position players were pitching for the end. I think I've brought this up on the channel before, this specific game, but after leaving that game, I said these two teams a year from now are meeting for the World Series. These two teams are so talented, so young, so deep, so raw. Give them another year, but they'll be there. And then sure enough, both teams were in the World Series the very next year. And they've been able, like Chris Bryant, he's returned to MVP form. He was playing in the outfield earlier this year. I don't know if he's still playing center field, but Chris Bryant is really turned it on again. So you get Aaron Savali versus Adbert Alzolay in the first matchup, which is an all right matchup. But then in the second game, you get 0-1, 12.79 ERA, should be in AAA, but due to injuries, he's here. Eli Morgan versus Kyle Hendricks. Kyle Hendricks, 9-4, sporting just over 4 ERA. If you want my opinion, the way the pitching is set up, this clearly looks to me like both these teams should just split and walk away. Indians got Aaron Savali, take this game, and then Eli Morgan's on the bump the next game. So what are you really expecting as an Indians fan out of Eli Morgan as he goes up against the Cubs? Who it's not a vaunted lineup, but the Cubs are still going to do plenty damage, I assume, to a young and potentially not even up and coming Eli Morgan. I don't know. I just haven't seen anything from him to say that he's up and coming. I mean, technically he's here, he's up, and he's So the Indians won both games earlier this year. Like I said, the all-time series is 18-17. I just think this is an incredibly, both these teams have been through a lot. The injuries are really starting to rack up on the Indians, but they were lucky that not only were they not incurring many injuries, but then their schedule was so favorable to start the year. So, now it's time to show and prove, Cleveland Indians. It's time to show that you belong, that you're one of the better teams, that you're clearly the second best team in the American League Central. You're one of the better teams in the American League. And you know what? Maybe you're one of the better teams in baseball. I mean, they're not. If they had a full rotation, and I mean, because honestly, I worried about this team hitting the ball. They've been no hit twice, but they've been doing really well. Again, I mean, against inferior competition, but regardless, the Indians have been hitting the ball. If they just had a complete starting rotation, then this team would be really, really dangerous, because you have Jose Ramirez, and I don't mention him enough on this channel. Jose Ramirez is playing at an MVP caliber level. Like he has put this team on his back at points. It's just that, like I said, you have Shohei Ohtani, you have Vlad Guerrero, you have guys that are going to garner MVP votes, not only because of their names, but like they are really, really performing. Because Shohei Ohtani and Vlad Guerrero Jr., before this season, they were names, but now they're superstars because they're really putting it all together. So Jose Ramirez probably isn't going to win the MVP, but okay. And then lastly, Newsday out of Long Island finally explained it to me. My friend Jerry and I are sitting there enjoying Game 4. Tampa Bay had a 2-1 series lead. They have all the talent. They're a class organization, which you wouldn't think, but trust me, when you want to talk about one of the heartlands of American hockey, this thing beats in Tampa Bay. I mean, they are a world-class organization. You look at a guy like Steven Stamkos, he's just a guy there now. Steven Stamkos used to be a superstar, one of the faces of the NHL 10 years ago, and now he's just a guy. They are stacked. They are absolutely stacked, and yet, you want to talk about a heartland of hockey on Long Island. Those fans have been through hell and back. The freaking Islanders, as the New York Islanders started playing games in Brooklyn, okay, and then they even changed their uniforms to match the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, the Islanders all but abandoned their fan base a few years ago when they realized, oh wow, no one in Brooklyn cares about hockey. They came crawling back to the Nassau Memorial Coliseum, and you know what? All the power to them. All the power to the New York Islanders for giving just your casual fans something to cheer about. I mean, a couple years ago, yeah, I'd totally be on the Tampa Bay train. Like, oh, Tampa Bay, that's so fun. Tampa Bay Lightning, NHL team in Tampa, that's fun. Until you realize they're literally an unstoppable, literally Yankees of the Sun Belt in terms of hockey. Like, these guys can't be stopped unless they're absolutely crapping themselves against the Blue Jackets a couple years ago. I mean, these guys are going to be playing for Stanley Cups for the future. They have been playing for Stanley Cups, and they will continue to play for Stanley Cups. And in the most New York Islander hockey way possible, Islanders go up 3-0 because of course they do. They got their crowd back. They're in the Nassau Memorial Coliseum. Everything is right. Everything is going their way. They're up 3-0. And all of a sudden, third period starts, and Tampa scores that first goal, and people got so nervous. You could just feel it. I could feel it through my television. I could feel the Islander fans. They've had their team tried to run away on them. They haven't been in this type of position in a while. I mean, they are on the cusp of true greatness here. And you could just tell they are so nervous. And then the Islanders score the Lightning score a second goal. And so they're clinging to a 3-2 lead. And, all of the talent of Tampa Bay. And you just assume that the Islanders are going to just let this one slip. And this guy, with no time left, saves a puck with his body. The goalie had already come out, had made a save. The puck comes back to the Tampa Bay Lightning. They get around, wide open net. Here comes overtime. They're gonna take this in overtime. They're gonna go up 3-1 in the series. All the hopes and dreams of Islander hockey fans everywhere are gonna be dashed. But then this defenseman just jumps in front of the net, sacrifices his own body, stops the puck as if he were a goaltender, but he's not wearing any goalie pads. He's just out here making a stop. The most Long Island way to win a game I think I've ever seen. Just totally, just got me pumped. Like, I am ready for tonight. So tonight, game 5. Now, if Matt Martin's brother-in-law isn't too busy getting married, he should have the decks cleared. He should have clear eyes, full heart. And Matt Martin and the New York Islanders, they can't lose. So I am super excited for all the action tonight. You got Indians Cubs at Wrigley Field. The all-time series is 18-17. I mean, we're talking about the all-time series. You know, like, if Indians win both games, now they're the better team overall throughout the course of history, face to face with the Cubs. And you know what? After the 2016 World Series, I want that. I really want that. And then tonight, objectively, just going to watch some playoff hockey, pivotal game 5. The series is now tied 2-2. But I'd be kidding myself if I didn't say that I wasn't, I'm pulling for Long Island. What can I say? I'm pulling for Long Island. So you guys, make sure you have a wonderful, great rest of your day. I love you guys very much. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment at Authority Videocast on Facebook. If you haven't already, make sure to go follow us on there. I gotta get, more. I haven't really figured it out. Maybe you guys can help me out. Leave a comment in the, and again, leave comments. Like, what are you guys talking about? What do you guys want to hear? What are your guys' thoughts? What are your guys' reaction? Don't just let me come on here and it is the Authority Videocast. I like to think that I have a little sense of authority here, that maybe I can tell you something and you'll actually believe it or take it to heart or consider it. But if you don't, if you want to call me on my crap, just go ahead, leave a comment, and it'll be fun. So just trying to figure out a way to engage you guys more at the show, other than just watching me, because it is cool to just watch me and do my thing, but at the same time, it's all about you guys. So let me know, and like I said, make sure you have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you on the next one.